I'm going to keep this simple, stupid. I told you about a story, and I then told you that as I was working on it, it was going viral. And then as I've been trying to deal with it, it went global. And now it's on just about every channel that I watch outside of our movement that I could possibly imagine, to the point where I think the story is going to be oversaturated. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I still think that many of these people, you could watch some of them and probably they would cover it, but most of them miss a lot of the really important points, which is why I think, and this was something I kind of predicted a while ago, which is why I still think there's a certain breakdown I can bring to it, especially for Brits and people that don't understand the industries involved here. That, yeah, I believe that only myself and a number of people can do that I know. And this is, let me just show you the footage, but before I do, this is super, super graphic compared to anything I've ever shown on this channel. It will most likely be censored by YouTube. At least an age restriction will be put up on it. Once that happens, this won't appear and recommend this. It will disappear.
Let it play.
Right, just in case you are, I'm not going to say sheltered, that's unfair. In case you are unfamiliar with that kind of violence and what it looks like, that's not a work, what you've just witnessed. That's not a show. Although it's happening in a wrestling ring, it is not a show. That man there, that black guy, many of us believe that was attempted murder. And it's disturbing footage. But the reason I'm having problems bringing it to you is, as I said, see, I don't necessarily try and be the first in on a story, because this story is still developing. And sometimes it's best to have the whole story to present. What's causing me the problem is that I'm having a moral frustration with, and I'm getting angry with. So if I've been angry with any of you today, I apologise, it's not you. I'm getting angry with, and you shouldn't get angry when you're covering a story. There are people covering for this guy, and when I break this story down, you should already realise there's no excuse for what he's just done. But when I break this down for you, it makes even more sense. And if you want to find out about it now, his name's Raja Jackson. I mentioned this before, but my own breakdown will be very specific. The MMA community, and an amazing amount of people from the WWE, not all of them, from the WWE who have podcasts. People that, few nice ones I thought there were, have shocked me. And the takes that some of them got. Chael Sonnen is one of my favourite people in the world. And what I've heard come out of his mouth to what seems like make the victim of that not press charges. By the way, that guy, the black guy, has been walking around. I don't think he's seen a policeman. Nobody's come calling yet, as far as I know. And that was now 5 days ago. We're on about the 5th day, I think. It's every day I've been looking to see if the police, at the moment, nothing. But that may be to do with the fact that the professional wrestling company, it's only an indie company, so you don't get wages, you get your airfare paid. The wrestling company, is trying to, rather than sticking by their man and saying, yeah, this guy, instead of sitting by their man and saying, yeah, our pro wrestler, who is not a fighter, and this guy is, he was supposed to be having a fake fight, and the next thing he knows, the guy is supposed to come up behind him. Okay, supposed to come up behind him. What he's not supposed to do is punch all of his teeth out, break both of his orbital bones, leave him choking in his own blood, whilst and leave him into a position where they had to induce him into a coma, and also the wrestling match, the fake wrestling match continued, so they pinned him and let referee count to 3 and all the rest of it, so that they could celebrate and win and all the rest of it, whilst he was laying there dying. And it took one guy, one wrestler. In the old days, all the wrestlers would come in. They would not stand for that. It took one guy with some balls who saw what was going on to come running from all the way around the back, all the way out, and to try and take on an MMA fighter. And he actually did very well. In as much as he wasn't trying to beat him up, he was trying to hold him, put him in holds to subdue him. And he did a great job, and it kind of embarrassed the other people into coming and helping. God knows if he basically saved this man's life. That guy you see running saved his life. And so, and I wasn't going to give you this background to the full video, but the reason I have is because people like Chael Sonnen, who I've respected for years, knows that guy because he's the son of Quinton Rampage Jackson, the famous UFC star, Chael's friend. And they are basically, what's the word? I forget what the word is, but they are passively, aggressively telling this guy who's only just woken up of a coma to tell the police that it was part of the show, right? And also they're pushing him to speak to them before doing anything else, because basically they're probably going to try and pay him off or something. I don't know exactly, but the point of it is they're then saying that they're being impartial. And then you've got wrestlers from the WWE community who you would think would be looking after their man and saying, what was he even doing in the ring? He's not a professional wrestler. Why was he in there? You know, the RR is not hurting each other. Why was he allowed in there? And instead, I'm seeing old-time wrestlers that I respected sticking up for this kid. So, again, there is an event that caused by that wrestler that you just see beat up there. His name's Psycho Stu. But it's also worth mentioning to you that he does pro wrestling for an indie company that won't be paying very much money, if any, because he's a veteran. And far from a psycho, he suffers with PTSD. He does pro wrestling to it helps him deal with his PTSD. That's why he does this. I wonder if it's going to help him now. So the reason I'm taking my time is because the story is still expanding, and I'm watching these people that I've respected on the internet for years, and I'm talking about handfuls of them. Whilst most people are absolutely rightfully disgusted and saying get him arrested and get him on trial, just this handful of really respected people are doing mental gymnastics and verbal gymnastics to convince him and to convince everybody else before any legal body gets involved. It's disgraceful, and it's actually triggered me. So this was a story about one thing, and it still is, but now I think it's going to also be a story about I don't even know what to call it at the moment. Like criminal nepotism, maybe. Criminal nepotism. I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, that's why the delay. Yeah. If you can't wait, go look up Roger Jackson.
I hear a symphony of violence piercing through the silent night. behind a scarlet moon so still reflects back on us. Illuminating rage that's coming now. A symphony of violence, a festival of rage, where free spoke silence and communism's all the rage. No, yeah. Hey, it's tough, I know you feel rough. Just pack up your stuff, enough. Rage is gonna come reveal soon. Nowhere to hide, no safe little room. Rage is coming from you. It's coming for you, kids. It's growling at you. Yeah. Rage is in the room.